name is Brianna Camarillo, and this is my children's literature video. I do not have an audience, so I will be using you as my audience, and you will be my 5th grade classroom. So let's get started. Today, we're going to learn about different kinds of Cinderella stories from around the world and their cultural backgrounds. The book we're going to read today is called The Rough-Faced Girl by Rafe Martin, illustrated by Davis Shannon. Before we get started, I would just like to discuss about the books we'll be reading throughout the week. This one's called The Rocky Mountain Rose, and it's an Appalachian Cinderella story. We'll be reading this one throughout the week. And I have also chosen Little Gold Star, and it's pronounced Estrellita de Oro in Spanish. So if any of you guys speak Spanish, I'm sure you'll be happy to learn about this cultural background. So before we read our story, tell me what you guys already know about the original Cinderella story. And tell me what you guys... Okay, before we start the story, I want you guys to tell me and picture in your head the original Cinderella story and compare it to this story. I am going to pass out this compare and contrast chart. And it briefly summarizes the title, the author, the country of origin, the name Cinderella uses in this story, Cinderella's jobs, the evil characters who mistreat Cinderella, where does Cinderella meet the prince, the magic of the story, what task proves the real Cinderella, and the fate of the evil characters. I would also like you to review this, to write your review of this story at the very end. But while reading the book, I want you guys to keep all this in mind, okay? So I'll be passing this out, and let's get started with the book. Oh, but before we get started with the book, can any of you tell me what kind of book or theme this is? This is a fairy tale. Can you guys tell me what a fairy tale is? Well, a fairy tale is a legend or story passed down from generation to generation. And these are different ways of retelling that story. So a fairy tale usually has something to do with a truth about real life, or explaining some sort of, it's explaining some type of lesson learned. So I want you guys to pay attention to that while reading this book. We're going to get started. So as you can see, this book is starting with once long ago there was a village by the shores of Lake Ontario. As you can see, this book starts off with once long ago, which is similar to once upon a time. Have you guys heard that in the past Cinderella stories? Or in the original story? Well, in this story, Cinderella is an Indian girl who has to be forced to sit by the fire because her evil sisters do not like her, Cinderella. Do any of you guys know how this relates to the original story? Remember in the original story how her evil sisters treat her and make her clean, and they are just mean to her? That's not very nice, is it? So Cinderella decides that she is going to meet this prince. In this story, the prince is an invisible man that no one can see. So the sister of the invisible man wants him to get married, but since no one can see him, nobody can marry him. But Cinderella, also known as the rough-faced girl, has an idea. She decides to go on a journey and find him because she is the only one that can see him. So on her journey, she realizes how they really do belong together. And in the end of the story, her face is healed and she becomes beautiful and lives happily ever after. So can you guys tell me how this relates to the original story? And can you guys tell me how this differs, and just think about all those ideas, and I want you guys to write them down. And tomorrow when we read the other stories, we'll be comparing them to this story. But for your homework, I want you guys to go home and have a family member help you with the theme of the story, the topic, and the main idea. So I want you guys to go home and talk to your family members, a parent, a sibling, and help you figure out what the theme of this story was, the topic, and the main idea. This will be your homework for tonight. And tomorrow, I want you guys to write your own version of Cinderella's story. So, have a nice day, guys, and thanks for watching my video.